There's a lot of awards buzz around David Fincher's new Netflix original, Mank. Does it live up to the hype? 1930s Hollywood is reevaluated through the eyes of scathing social critic and alcoholic screenwriter Herman Mankiewicz as he races to finish the screenplay of Citizen Kane for Orson Welles. First, the aesthetics in this are great. It's shot in black and white, and it really has the feel of films from the 30s and early 40s. The framing, panning, depth of field, even lighting really captured that era. The supporting cast in this does a really good job. Some of the standouts are Amanda Seyfried, Lily Collins, Charles Dance, and Arliss Howard. But the star of this film is Gary Oldman as Herman Mankiewicz, or Mank. He's quick-witted, smart, outspoken, full of hubris, and he's also a raging alcoholic. Oldman plays the character so well because he takes somebody who could be rather off-putting and makes me want to see more of them. He's chauvinistic, but he's also capable of compassion and concern. The dialogue in this is so intelligent and fast. There's a lot of wit to it, and Oldman is excellent at that rapid-fire delivery. I love how it bounces between characters and they just, without missing a beat, going back and forth with their lines. And of course, they're actors, this is what they do, but it is so convincing and it's so entertaining to watch as they deliver these lines. I love how the story is told in its present, and then there are flashbacks. And the flashbacks take on the form of kind of a screenplay, where we're given on the screen the setting and the location and the time. I like the story that's being built also. I mean, not only is there that time pressure on Mank to finish Citizen Kane in a rather short period of time, we have all of the flashback events surrounding Hollywood that really go to shape the script and even the mindset that Mank is writing in. The back and forth in time worked pretty well, but there were a couple of times where we would come out of the flashback to present, and I wasn't exactly sure where in the time-space continuum we were. I mean, I didn't know exactly how much time had passed, so it took me a brief second just to kind of catch up or to get my bearings, but it didn't affect it too much. The inside look at Hollywood is also intriguing. Watching Mank and the other studio writers and even studio heads interact and engage with each other really gives us this peek behind the curtain as to what is going on and how things work and how discussions happen and how that influences what movies we see and what movies we don't. And the struggles that the writers and studios are facing, especially in this time of the Great Depression and the short years following that, it is influencing everything. The tactics, the motivation, all of that goes into how the studio leadership functions and what they do and what kind of decisions they make. There's also then the huge political landscape of California that is going on at this time also. All of these things are having a great influence on the studios. And so Mank is experiencing all of this, and this is what is going into his writing, and this is what is helping to shape his script for Citizen Kane. I found the story interesting, but it's long. It's 2 hours and 11 minutes. They packed a lot in to get us into Mank's mindset. So should any of it been cut out? Now, I can't think of anything that stood out as extraneous, but also in keeping with some of the feel of the 30s and 40s movies, there are pacing points where it does feel just kind of slow or down. Now, the whole thing wasn't slow. There are some very tense moments and scenes that have an urgency to them. There are also some very riveting scenes solely because of their dialogue. I loved how they melded the two timelines together and using all of that information and showing how that really influences what Mank is feeling, where his mind is, and just how he views the world. And all of that plays forth into his writing. We also get to hear it though straight from his mouth as well. It's not just coming down in the script. I mean, this is how he lived his life, and we got to see him reach breaking points and frustration points, and just where he's enough is enough, and he sees all of these things happening around him, and some people aren't listening, some people are unwilling to do anything or to act on it, even though they may know it's right. And here he has this calling as well to, I need to speak out and I need to try and make a change. So he uses the best tool that he has in his arsenal for social commentary, and that's in script writing. Now, I had a lot of fun with this story, and I do think it's effective. The real reason, though, to watch this movie is Gary Oldman as Mank. He demonstrates in this why he is such a wonderful actor. And I was riveted watching him. I wanted to see him deliver more and more lines. And he doesn't have to be very demonstrative in what he's doing, although there are some times where he is getting fired up, and I loved seeing that in his performance as well. But I really do think this performance in Mank, it's probably going to garner him some award nominations. And yeah, the movie is a little bit long, but I do think it's worth it. It's a great watch, especially if you enjoy older movies. If you enjoy movies from the eras of the 30s and the 40s, then this fits right in. I mean, from the aesthetics, the way it was filmed, the way it was shot, framing, lighting, the whole thing, it just really feels like we are watching a movie that came from that era. There's no sex or violence, there's kind of some slight nudity and some profanity. I give Mank 4.5 out of 5 couches. What is your favorite Gary Oldman performance? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for catching with me.